This game is cool as fuck. It's a visual novel mystery escape room, and it's great. 9 people are gathered into this ship that will sink in 9 hours. You have to go through 9 doors to eventually find the exit. The way the story unravels through the different endings is amazing. The story is great, the characters, the dialogue, the soundtrack are all great. There isn't as much gameplay as I'd like there to be, but for what there is, it's great. This game is dark and foreboding, not for the faint of heart. It's not a game for everyone. It's a visual novel, so most of the gameplay is just pressing A, but it's an amazing experience that will leave you with a lot to think about. I really like the Metroid games. Each game is just a great experience. How you traverse the world and gather upgrades is so fun. Metroid Fusion takes things in a slightly different way than the others. Namely, it's very linear and focuses on the story a lot more. After all the Metroids were wiped out, a parasite known as SAX is making its rounds and you have to stop it. Gameplay-wise, it's your standard Metroid. Even so, the gameplay is great. The game keeps you on edge constantly with the threat of the SAX as well as the infected Variasuit. Guns of the Patriots is regarded as the worst MGS game. And I'll have to agree. But this game is fucking great. The story is kind of a mess, but it introduced many great new things. It continues many ideas and plot points from MGS 1, but for the most part, it keeps it fresh. The game has a few noticeable issues, but I still enjoyed it quite a bit. This game is split up into 5 different acts. Each act is cool, but this game lacks a main, memorable area that all the other games have. 1 has Shadow Moses, 2 has Big Shell, 3 is the Soviet Union, Peace Walker has Colombia, and 5 has both Afghanistan and Africa. But there's more of a variety of locations and gameplay. Acts 1 and 2 were quite good. Act 3 was unique and had a very neat location, but was too short and pointless. Acts 4 and 5 are the real good shit. Guns of the Patriots is the final MGS game, and it really feels like it's the end-all be-all game, concluding the series very nicely. The first Drawn to Life game was alright, and Two Realms was shit, but this game is the real good one. It was the second game I've ever played back when I was 8, so is it nostalgia that's making me rate this game so high? Probably. But seriously, this game is really good with fun gameplay, great characters, and excellent presentation. This game utilizes the drawing aspect so much better this time around. All the levels, except for a few, were really fun. My main problem with this game is it was too short. I really wanted more in the end, but there are a few actual problems. The bosses are only alright. The transformation things are really not that fun. The third area isn't that memorable compared to the previous ones, and the final few levels are not that good. But the game is still a really good, simple, hidden gem of a game. Metroid. Super Metroid. This game is a blast. Great gameplay, progression, and areas. This game has it all. It doesn't control as well as the later Metroid games, but it's still fun as hell. I'd say it has the most memorable and the best areas out of the 2D Metroids. This game is a classic and a staple in Metroid and video game history as a whole. Oh my god, this game is a godsend. The fact that this game exists is amazing. This game was originally cancelled 15 years ago, but now, in 2021, it was randomly revealed at E3. I finished playing the other 2D Metroid games just to play this one, and man, it's so good. With so many AAA games trying to be the next greatest game, taking years to come out, and inevitably being disappointing, this game is a major breath of fresh air. Dread isn't groundbreaking nor does it reinvent the series, but I wholeheartedly say it is the best 2D Metroid. This is the first 2D Metroid since Fusion in 2002, not counting remakes. And with that, the game does a lot of new and exciting things. The controls and the combats are greatly improved. It takes a lot from Samus Returns on the 3DS, but makes them immensely better. The exploration is great in Dread. The game guides you in the direction you need to go, but lets you mostly have your freedom. I don't like how you constantly go back and forth from new to old areas without exploring them thoroughly, but in the end, it doesn't really matter. The enemies are really cool and tough, both escaping them and fighting them. They are really neat and add a lot to the gameplay. I wish the enemy areas were better though. And the water one was a pain in the ass, but all the others were great. The game is also quite hard, mainly the bosses. After the first try, you think to yourself, this is impossible, but after multiple tries, you get better and better and can beat it seamlessly. Many of the puzzles are hard too. The shine sparks are really fucking hard. But again, after many tries, you're able to do it seamlessly. And I was able to 100% the game, and it was a fucking blast. This game sucks. Just kidding, lol. This game is pretty good. Persona 4 is a great game about finding and accepting your true self, as well as Adachi. In this game, you play as a high school student, and you mainly do extremely fun things, like go to school, go to work, and talk to people. Extremely fun. This game is split up into 2 different parts. Most of the time is spent living out a normal life, doing all the things I mentioned earlier. Every important person you meet has a social link, and you spend most of your time with these social links. I really enjoyed spending the time with the people and approving social links. It's where the true heart of the game lies. Each character is great and has so much personality. Well, most of them. At least all the main characters are great. The main characters all have a great connection and it feels so real in the game. Spending time with these characters and watching them grow and change is great. The other half of the game is spent searching for a serial killer who kills people by throwing them into the TV. You traverse through a number of dungeons in RPG fashion. These dungeons are honestly not that great. They are repetitive and boring. Some of them can be pretty cool, but others are just not fun. The battles are great though. The personas are really fun to use. They are all unique and add a lot to the gameplay. Persona 4 is a very long but rewarding game. It's a great journey that I was very invested in until the winter. Then I just wanted the game to be over with, but aside from that, I was completely invested. Damn, this game has some of the best gameplay I've ever played in any game. The game is vastly different from the previous MGS games, more so than Peace Walker, but fuck you, the gameplay is so addicting. When I played Persona 4 or 999, it was hard to play those games for more than a few hours, but when I played this game, I would play it for hours and hours without getting tired or bored. It also doesn't help that when I played this game, I was unemployed for a month, but that's aside from the point. The Phantom Pain is an open world game with so much to do. You take on missions that are pretty normal MGS stealth action missions, but there are an endless amount of options when going about these missions. You have so many options when it comes to your mother base and what you want to do with your base and developing stuff. There are so many missions and side ups that you can never get bored. Or you could just spend hours wandering aimlessly in the big open world. My main gripe with the game is the lack of story. There is a story, but it's very few and far between. A lot of it you won't even get to until you beat the first ending. The other MGS games have such amazing stories that I wanted to see what this game had to offer. And what we got was great, I'd just like to see more of it. Metroid Prime was a game I've been wanting to play for quite some time, and after finally playing it, wow, it's amazing. This game has everything that made the 2D games amazing and improves upon it so much. Everything about this game is near perfect. I played the trilogy version on the Wii, and the controls are so fucking fun. The exploration, the areas, the combat, it's all perfect. The world felt like an open, sprawling world. This was a world that felt alive and had so much lore to it. There's so much history to discover. I really liked the added story in the game. It was so exciting to learn about the Chozo and their world, as well as areas and enemies. I will say, near the end, there were a few issues. First off, the space pirate guys were annoying. These guys that require a certain beam to kill them show up so often. You have to fight these guys and later the Metroids so often that it's annoying. I ended up just ignoring them whenever they appeared. The combat is great, but when it's the same enemies over and over, it's annoying. Plus they have a decent amount of health and require a specific beam to kill, so you can have like 4 of these dudes that all require a different beam to kill. Well, aside from those guys and some issues with the second and third last bosses, the game was phenomenal. Prime is a must-play game and definitely one of my favorite games of all time now. Snake Eater has everything that makes MGS so good. It has the best story and the best gameplay, aside from 5 of course. This game is a narrative masterpiece. The story is one of pain, fear, fury, and sorrow. I already made a full video on it, so go check that out. The way the story progresses throughout the amazing gameplay is great. Snake Eater improves upon both the action and stealth. CQC is very useful and fun. The stealth is greatly improved with the new camouflage feature. The game is filled with so many iconic moments and areas. This game is a beautiful work of art. It's an incredible game with excellent fun gameplay and an engaging story. So that was the list. If y'all want, I could make lists on other things from 2021, like movies or shows or whatnot. This is just what I'm doing, set of reviews, okay? I played a lot of games this year, and I will make a list next year. Tune in next time for the next video, whenever that may be. Fuck you.